Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Exceptional Conservative Show live from the nation's capital. You know we record this particular period and put it on our YouTube channel, TECN TV, and the Exceptional Conservative Show. You can go to either one of those pages and pick up the previous night's interview. We have a great interview tonight with none other than the great Bishop Leon Benjamin, president of Coalition of Leaders United. You can find him on Twitter at Leon Benjamin. It is a tremendous honor and pleasure to have him back on the program. How are you doing this evening, sir? Okay, we just need to hear your voice. Just need to hear your voice. Okay, not hearing you. Okay, that's okay. We're not hearing you at the moment. I think you can hear me, but I can't hear you at the moment. Now, there's another way we could do this. You can call into the
Let's see if that
studio
works
line.
right there.
There you go. Perfect.
All right.
There you go. See, y'all hang in there long enough. Bring the camera down just a little bit. We can see that pretty face. Leon Benjamin, ladies and
Okay.
gentlemen, he is not only
I'm,
president of the
I'm so
coalition
glad.
out of Richmond, but he also is chairman of the Richmond City GOP. Got to ask you tonight. You put on a call earlier this week about opportunity zones, and there are people
Yes.
around the country who are like, my city is really piss poor bad. I live in Baltimore. I live in Chicago, where Lori Lightfoot is trying to work out a deal to pay teachers more, even though they're on strike. And nothing's gotten better after all those years of having Democrats rule in my city. Why should I focus on something called an opportunity zone?
Well, it's real plain and simple. Real plain and simple is that now we have an opportunity to really make a difference from the ground up, where private and public partnerships, uh, investors, developers, and community leaders can now coincide together and work together to rebuild their communities. Even though it was initiated through a bill, a bipartisan bill from a Democrat and a Republican, the monies actually come from private partnerships and public partnerships. So while all craziness is going on all around us, we can let really for real money do the talking in
There you
this
go.
sense.
Exactly. Now, there's some people who are sitting back saying, well, I don't ever get any money from the government. I don't get any money from no program. How can I access an opportunity zone? What do I got to do? Do I have to march around the block or something? What do I got to do to take part in an opportunity zone?
Well, the main reading for the opportunity zone is to first be in an opportunity zone.
Mm-hmm.
There are 8,700 census tracts. We're talking about 25% of low income, distressed, blighted areas around the nation that have been chosen by the state governor. They worked along with other officials to put these census tracts in and around particular communities. And now, once we designate those OZs or opportunity zones, we create a instrument called a QOF, or a Qualified Opportunity Fund,
Mm.
which is not hard to do. You can come together. People can create it just like you're creating a business entity. But in this case, it is a stated holdings entity where qualified investments, what we call QI, can now be put into those funds, into that qualified opportunity to now work projects that have been qualified to be what we call shovel ready in those opportunity zones.
Yeah,
It's what's been going on anyway, whether it be a hub zone, enterprise zone, empowerment zone. But now in these opportunity zones, businesses and stakeholders can now get preferential tax treatment up to 15% savings on their capital gains. But it gets sweeter than that. If they keep the program, their monies inside the in opportunity zone for 10 years, they pay no tax on their
wow.
business. So we're talking about substantial amount of rollover where businesses, investors, stakeholders can make a lot of money. But we're looking at the other side, it's just help a lot of people.
Exactly. Tonight we're talking with Leon Benjamin, who is the president of the Coalition of Leaders United. Twitter account is at Leon Benjamin. The reason why we have him on tonight is to talk about the opportunity zones, the opportunity for individuals who have gotten used to the same old thing and getting no results to try something new, partnerships. The whole idea of corporations coming in, businesses coming in and investing. Why would I spend a dime investing in Baltimore, North Avenue, or Richmond on the highway, Richmond Highway? Why would I spend a dime
Mhm.
to build anything in those places when there is such high unemployment and low income? Why would I spend any money there?
The reason being, first and foremost, you should care about your community, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why you should put money back into it. But now with this private public partnerships, you can actually attract people who not only going to make money, of course, because that's what investors do,
Yeah.
but we're talking about now bringing in the community buy-in, where what we really want to have in our communities, we can now have a say so. That's one of the reasons why we put together our coalition and also our national faith-based empowerment coalition to bring together what I call a win-win-win. The first win, of course, is for the investor developer. The second win, of course, is for the stakeholders, the project holders. And then the third win is for the community, the faith leaders, the residents who will get the jobs created, who will be able to build entrepreneurship, who will be able to get the training and the workforce development, and then also including in that returning citizens who now get an opportunity to build a business in an opportunity zone, to get employment in an opportunity zone because of agreements, private public partnerships, where the word felon is not a dirty word. It's a
Mm-hmm.
second chance. It's the first step act. It's a lot of things now why we should pay a whole lot of attention and don't just think that this program is for the elite or the lavish or the plush investors that are going to do projects anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But in the OZ zones, it's a special relationship that I believe we have an opportunity to bring people together who would never ever thought of even working together to rebuild their communities.
Bishop Benjamin, there are people who are sitting out there tonight saying this sounds very good, but doesn't that stir up gentrification? Aren't you just trying to move poor people out of neighborhoods and take those neighborhoods from them and blame them for all of the crime? Isn't that what you all are trying to do with opportunity zones?
Well, that's already been happening.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're here. We recognize that in the history where there was no accountability. We were up in Washington D.C. meeting with Senator Tim Scott, who was one of the originators of the Opportunity Zones, along with Cory Booker's staff, and knowing and understanding the spiritual intent of why this program was put in place. It was for the people,
Mm-hmm.
not only urban but also rural. And Senator Tim Scott said to us face to face, if this is not working for the people, he's going to shut it down. This is about the people, and we have concerned citizens and stakeholders who want to make sure that even though gentrification is old news, It's been going on. It'll probably continue to go on where there are people who just want to make money and move people out. This
Yeah,
is an opportunity for us to come together, faith leaders, stakeholders, private developers, investors, and really pour back into the community. And that's what I'm excited about, meeting people across the nation. We had such a great turnout with many leaders from California to Maryland. Were in
exactly.
DC last Wednesday, meeting it out, making sure that we fully understand the Opportunity Zone program and criminal justice reform.
Now you talk about faith leaders. You know, faith leaders don't know nothing about no economic development. They don't know nothing about no buildings. You know, and they ain't got no Goldman Sachs next door to them. You know, no Chase Bank or whatever. Why do you keep focusing on the faith community, sir?
Because at the end of the day, God has to make a difference in these opportunity zones. And if we don't put God in it, then it's just going to be any old program like before, hub zones, enterprise zones, empowerment zones. I'm representing God,
There
and
you go.
I want to do it well. I don't want to make him shame. So that's why we're working doubly hard with other pastors, like the pastors that came together, Pastor Mike Faulkner, Reverend Zachary Oliver, many other pastors, Pastor Bruce Rivers from
Yes.
California. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we had pastors come from all over, and civic and faith leaders that want to make a difference this time and say, we got to keep God in this, okay? We can't
Exactly.
put God in a bottle and shove him in a corner and say, we'll call on you when we need you. No, we need him in every bit of this Opportunity Zone program and then some.
Now, in asking corporations to come in, private public partnerships here, what is the part of that's public? What is the public responsibility, and then what are you asking the private persons to do?
Well, okay, we have the public, which is the civic leaders, the
Mm-hmm.
stakeholders, whether it be from banks to mayors to school boards, city council, all of those players who have other fiduciary responsibilities inside of the opportunity zones. There are incentives, tax incentives, other than that which is provided in the preferential tax treatment as far as the IRS code with the OZs, but there are also incentives for building, for redevelopment. And we bring those public partnerships in along with the investor, which is the private partnerships. So we need them both working together because we can do wraparound service, provide other incentives. We can
Mm-hmm.
make it more cushion the deal because of the other incentives. There are block grants, there are grants, there are resources that can be put in so that we can have anchor businesses, truly anchor businesses that investors are feeling comfortable that they're getting their ROI, which is return on investment.
Yep.
But then we also have the small businesses that can that can play a part in this as we create jobs, as we create affordable housing, as we create other things like training and even restaurants. I mean, we can be very creative with this zone. We can put
Exactly.
schools in there. We can put clinics in there. We can put franchises in there. We can put veterans businesses in there. There's a lot of things that we can do now that in the hub zones, enterprise zones, the pot wouldn't be
Yeah.
so sweet. But with OZ, with this preferential tax treatment, it makes it very sweet for public and private partnerships.
Got to ask you here because there are people who live long enough to remember when we had a black president who promised us shovel ready jobs, and it became a slush fund for the unions. And we never saw a shovel or readiness or a job in any of that. Is that the same thing, or is this completely different?
We have to make it different. When I say
Mm-hmm.
we have to make it different, that's why we were on the Hill last Wednesday talking to Senator Tim Scott face to face with Congressman Horsford and Senator Cory Booker's staff accountability. We need proper reporting going on in the OZ zones. We need oversight. We need everyone working together to make sure that, scams and,
Yep.
different things that are going on, that there's proper reporting. And so all those things that when, and of course, any program is going to be susceptible, right,
Yep.
to all those
Yep.
different games,
Game
things that people
players.
do.
Exactly.
But we want to minimize that by bringing cooperation between statesmen and public partnerships and community. We call it the win-win-win effect.
Now you put up a buffer to eliminate the extraneous risk of fraud and abuse. You created a state coordinator group. Can you tell us what that is and how important that is to making this pertinent and profitable for those that invest?
Right. We have put in place already in several states state coordinators that become checkpoints for opportunity zone projects going on the city. So we're trying to fill every city in every state with these checkpoints where we have accountability, but we have links, we have strategic alliances. We have the ability to learn the language. Sometimes there's a language gap or even a
Yeah.
language barrier between investor and stakeholder, or developer and community people, or even the mayor and the city council, planning and development. Those barriers need to be broken. They need to be pulled down so that we really understand the term community.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when things actually go on, there's unity in community, and so the state coordinator is part of that unity link, and so we got to learn the language. We got to be able to decipher who's who, what roles people are playing, and so that's a course step by step education for the state coordinators. But we have some awesome volunteers, some awesome people from California, Texas, of course, Virginia, Maryland, Georgia, also New York, and we're filling up everything in between. Arizona, we even have a state coordinator for Alaska. Okay,
Wow.
so
Wow.
we know this is important. This is very important. And so blazing a trail to be those apostles, so to speak, first on the scene, to be able to leave an example and a pattern, because this is a 7-year program which can go well into not just 2026, because that's when it officially cuts off. This can go well into 2040. So we need to
There you
have
go.
right patterns, right models, so that when I'm 90 years old, I don't have to worry about going, what are we doing?
Now, you are a gatekeeper. You have other gatekeepers who are state coordinators. There are people listening to the program tonight wondering, how do I get to be a state coordinator? How do I get to be a gatekeeper to make certain that this doesn't work the same way as the enterprise zones worked when the liberals took office? How do I become a part of that? How do I become a part of what you're doing with the coalition?
Yeah, you can access the site at w.coalitionunited.com, coalition.com, and they can put in their request right there saying they want to be a state coordinator, know more about the Opportunity Zone program. They can go right to our website and to properly vet. We ask for bios and race, and
Yeah,
pictures, and just to make sure that people have at least some type of background or certain wherewithals, so that if the person really is serious about helping people in their community.
exactly. Couldn't be a better person to be a watcher over this particular program than you, Bishop Benjamin. For people who want to join, they can get in contact with you by going to the website, They can get in contact with you by going directly to the website, which is Coalition of Leaders United. Coalition of Leaders United. They should get in contact with you right away because we're talking not about millions of dollars. We're talking about billions of dollars that could be flowing into urban
Trillion,
areas. Trillions.
trillion,
Wow.
trillions. We're
Wow.
talk we're talking about being able to stop the debt clock, because you stop debt by having more income come in than what you spend out. And
And
so we're creating cash flow in these low income areas, in distressed areas where there was no cash flow, but also we're creating income, and so that produces a different outcome. Okay.
exactly.
and
Exactly.
and and so we want income to produce a different outcome. So we're
Mhm.
talking about turning and stopping the debt clock, because the debt clock is because we keep on producing money that is not backed by production. And so
Exactly. Exactly.
we want to get people back to work. We want to get people back producing again and being able to do the right things with their income and invest back into the community.
You know, Bishop, you're absolutely right. It is easier to consume when you have something to consume with. Without it, you only have degradation and destruction. It is a great joy to have you back on the program. We're going to have you back again and talk about this and so much more as we go into 2020 election season. But people can get in contact with you at Coalition of Leaders United. Leon Benjamin, president of that. You can contact him on Twitter at Leon Benjamin. God bless you, sir. Thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Thank you so much, and God bless all that you're doing. And you're doing a great work, man. I'm so
Thank
godly
you.
proud of you that you're being a voice to the voiceless. I mean, there's a lot of people that need your voice out there right now. And so thank you for hanging in there and taking all the brunt and the hits for people
Comes
that
with the
wouldn't have the
territory.
nerve to do what you're doing.
Thank you so much. God bless you, sir. We'll be right back with
All
more of
right.
the best in urban conservative talk right after these messages.